Hello everyone, today we'll be taking a look at the Figma Izuku Midoriya, otherwise known as Deku from My Hero Academia. This figure originally came out in 2017 and it is getting a re-release at the end of the year 2019. I was unable to get him upon the first release, so I'm pretty happy to have found it for close to retail compared to the ridiculous $300+ prices that it used to go for on eBay before the re-release was announced. Before we get to the figure, let's take a look at the packaging. Deku comes in a regular Figma box. On the front, we have the window that shows the figure pretty nicely, and the Figma number is 323. On the sides, we see the figure in two different poses, and on the back, we have some more images showing some poses from the anime and the different expression that he comes with. Moving on to the figure itself, the sculpt of this figure looks pretty much how you would expect a 3D representation of the character to look like. It really looks like it does in the anime. You get all the details you expect from a Figma, such as the buttons on the belt and gloves and the soles under his shoes. The paint came out pretty clean for the most part, but it does have a few paint blemishes, such as a bit of red from the pouch rubbing off on his thigh, and some of the white paint on his lower torso didn't come out as clean in one side as it did on the other. His faces all came out looking very clean and don't have any blemishes. He also has no trouble standing on his own without having to use the base. As for the articulation, this figure has the usual Figma hinged neck, ball-jointed shoulders, hinged elbows, ball-jointed wrists, ball-jointed torso, ball-jointed hips, hinged knees, the knee pads can move up and down, hinged ankles that pivot, and he has toe articulation as well. As for accessories, he comes with the standard Figma stand, a plastic bag, some instructions, a pair of closed fist hands, a pair of open hands, his Delaware smash hand gesture, and a pair of holding hands. He also comes with two extra faces, one being his angry/determined look, and the other being his nervous look. He also comes with some clear tear-shaped add-ons that I assume are supposed to go on the nervous face, or you can apply them however you want on the figure. If you had pre-ordered from the Good Smile website, he came with his closed mask head, but I don't have that version. The same pre-order bonus is offered for the re-release later this year, but apparently you can't get it if you live in the US. His neck piece is also removable, but as it is a part of his costume, I don't really count it as an accessory. This figure stands at about 5 inches tall, and for a size comparison, here it is next to a standard Marvel Legends. Here it is next to a DC Multiverse. Here it is next to a Star Wars Black Series. Here it is next to a Figuarts. And here it is next to another Figma. Overall, this is a pretty nice figure and a good representation of the character, with all the proportions and details being correct and the articulation being very good, but there are some pretty big problems that I just can't ignore. First of all, the accessories. He doesn't come with any effect pieces or any character specific things like an extra arm with torn clothes after using his Delaware smash that I feel should have been included at this price point. Not only that, but the fully masked head should have been a part of the standard release instead of being an exclusive bonus, which I'll remind you that you cannot even get if you live in the US. Another negative is the price point. I have gotten other Figma in the past that come with more accessories for a lower price at retail than this Deku, so they are really just overpricing it. I personally still like this figure since it's from my favorite anime, but it has more negatives than I expected. Another thing that really brings down my opinion of this figure is how much of a pain getting it was. The prices people were asking for him for the past 2 years were downright ridiculous. This figure is definitely not worth more than the original retail price, and even then, it's a bit overpriced. If you're a fan of the anime, I would recommend getting it only if you get it for the original price, but if you're not able to, you can always just get the McFarlane Deku that's coming out in the next few months. If it's like their Saitama figure, it's going to be a very good alternative. Only differences would be the scale is bigger and he will have his newer costume instead of this one. With all that out of the way, I still think it's a nice addition to my MHA collection, and he is pretty fun to pose for toy photography. Although I had some gripes with this figure, I still very much like it, and I'm glad to have it in my collection, since he was one of my grails for the past 2 years. I hope Bakugo comes with more accessories than Deku did, but I'll probably still get it, since there really isn't a lot of My Hero Academia merchandise. And that's pretty much it for the review. Also, if there's any figure you would like to see a review of, let me know in the comments, and if I have it in my collection, I'll be happy to cover it. As always, thanks for watching.